Hi, Josh.
Please rise. Call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is that yours, Josh?
Thank you and welcome to the December 15th, 2015 Post Falls City Council meeting. We have Deputy Clerk Phyllisins for Shannon, and please note that all council members are present with the exception of Mr. Wolf, and I expect that he will be pulling a Mr. Malloy and come flying in any minute now. He will be here, so we will watch for him. There are two public hearings tonight. If anyone wishes to testify, forms are on the dais in the back. The first would be the Grange Avenue and Chase Road annexation, and the second is the budget amendment number 1 for fiscal year 2016. That being said, I'm going to step down. We do have an Eagle Scout presentation. I'm going to ask Eagle Scout Tanner Short to join me up front. Step right up front there. Many years ago, Mayor Larkin started a habit. It was a good thing to do to recognize Eagle Scouts. And so tonight, it's our pleasure to congratulate Tanner Short on his attainment of the Eagle Scout designation. And if you can look at the badges, there's much that goes into it. So we congratulate you for that. Tanner's Eagle Scout project was to build 10 storage bent cubbies at Ponderosa Elementary, which are now being well used. So Tanner, on behalf of myself and the council, I would like to present you with this certificate and a buck knife that will be specially engraved. So congratulations and thanks for all you've done for Post Falls.
Congratulations.
Thanks for all your work.
Congratulations.
I'm not sure, but I think Post Falls puts out as many Eagle Scouts as anybody. So Tanner, thanks for continuing the tradition. Next item will be announcements. We did receive word that the St. Vincent de Paul, North Idaho Warming Center will be open Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. City offices will close at noon on Christmas Eve and will be closed all day Christmas Day. And the city offices will be open on New Year's Eve, but closed on New Year's Day. Any questions, call City Hall and they can give you further information. In the next item, I would like to ask Council to confirm the appointment of Dr. Warren Keene to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Warren is our...
And there he is.
He is here. I saw him walk in. Thank you. Warren is currently our county coroner. And he informed me the other day that he is actually retiring from full-time medical practice at the end of the year. And as you know, with the election of Mr. Borders to fill Mr. Hissong's seat, we had an opening on planning and zoning, and Warren submitted his name. So council had asked for a confirmation for his appointment.
I'd move to confirm.
Move in 3 seconds. Any further discussion?
We'll fight about it.
Phyllis, would you take the roll, please?
Thorson,
Aye.
Wolf,
John.
Malloy,
He'd vote aye if he was here.
Aye.
Henderson,
Hi.
Hissong,
Aye.
Wilhelm.
Aye.
Thank you. Warren, thank you for putting forth your name. We look forward to working with you. You'll enjoy the pay.
The benefits
No, you
don't
won't.
stand.
Are there any amendments to the agenda?
We have none tonight, sir.
Any declarations of conflict? Seeing none, would you please present the consent calendar?
Item A is minutes from the December 17th, 2015 City Council meeting. Item B is payables November 21st through December 7th, 2015. Item C is annexation agreement for Miller Development annexation. Item D is annexation agreement for the Rieben annexation. Item E is memorandum of understanding with Kootenai County for use of the Post Falls City Hall building as an evacuation center during an emergency for the Kootenai County Department of Motor Vehicle Satellite Office and the Kootenai County Veterans Services Office. Item F is memorandum of agreement amendment with Spokane River Stewardship Partners. Item G is agreement for armored car service with Loomis Armored US for banking services. Item H is approval of the farm lease for 154 acres with Satchwell Farms. Item I is the 2015 annual road and street report. And item J is the feasibility study additional services agreement with JUB Engineers.
Any questions on the consent calendar?
No.
Seeing none, entertain a motion.
Move to accept the consent calendar as presented.
Second.
Motion second, further discussion? Please take the roll.
Wilhelm.
Aye.
Hassan.
Aye.
Henderson.
Aye.
Malloy.
Aye.
Thorson.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. Next up is public hearings, and the first is the Grange Avenue and Chase Road annexation. And I will open the public hearing. Mr. Manley.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. John Manley, Associate Planner here at the City of Post Falls, introducing the Chase and Grange annexation, case file A-15-04. The property owner is Jim Guy. The applicant is Copper Basin Construction. And the requested action would be to review this annexation request, determine that the requested single-family R1 zoning designation is appropriate and conforms to the Post Falls comprehensive plan, and approve the proposed annexation request. What you see here, the 9.4 acres highlighted in blue, that's what the applicant has formally requested annexation for. Staff, upon receiving this request, determined that the 1.6 acre pocket was a potential liability and could prolong this ever becoming annexed. So we required them to come in together. The applicant, we discussed it with them, was on board, and so they all came together. What you see here, highlighted in red, that's the two together. It is just east of Chase Road and north of Grange Avenue. If you look at the current conditions in the area, just south of this area highlighted in blue, that's the project area. That's single family R1 homes. Just to the south, you see the county pocket that's fairly undeveloped at this point in time and is primarily ag used. To the north a bit, other single family R1 homes, and to the west you have these larger lot R1S type lots. You can see that on the slide here with its zoning designations. The lighter green being the ag suburban, that's the county designated areas for zoning, and the darker green being the county zoned agricultural zone properties. The yellow, that's your single family residential zone, and the R1S, that's the lighter yellow zone properties in the area. As stated, the project size, the requested area is 9.4, with the 1.6 additional being required. The current land use is residential ag. The proposed zoning would be single family residential, R1, and that's just your typical single family residential zoning designation. The water provider, East Green Acres Irrigation District, and the sewer being provided by the City of Post Falls. So this time I would conclude staff's introduction of the project. Do you have any questions for
of
me
John at this
time?
point?
The additional 1.6, is there somebody residing there now, and is that the applicant, or what's the relationship there?
There is a individual residing there. I believe it's a relation to Jim Guy that's currently at that location. Both the owner, the applicant, were all discussed. We are all in discussions.
And the resident's good too?
Yeah, the
Okay.
owner was good with it as well.
In the R1S, what is the S on R1?
That's the suburban.
Oh, suburban?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that one home per acre or one?
Yeah, well, the intent is 1 home per acre. Through PUDs and whatnot, that's not always been the case, but yeah.
Well, 1 home per acre, though.
Traditionally, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Applicant. Step forward, name for the record, please.
Good evening, Steve White with Copper Basin Construction. I'll keep it pretty brief. We have absolutely no objections to anything that's within the staff report on this. We agree pretty much 100% with it for once. And it is a fairly simple infill annexation. We went through planning and zoning. There was no public comment. We had, I think, 100% voting in favor for planning and zoning to move it forward to you guys. So I'd be happy to answer any questions, but I think it's a pretty simple little infill, low density, single family residential annexation.
Any questions, Mr. White? Real quick, low density, what do you
R1,
Okay.
low density, so single family only.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Staff report.
So in the Planning Division's review, we found that the proposal being consistent with the policies found within the comprehensive plan, it was within the Post Falls area city impact, it was contiguous with city limits, and the R1 zoning designation would be consistent with the surrounding environment. Within Smart Code, there's the 10-acre clause that if it's less than 10 acres, which the request was 9.4, that it would be up to the discretion of City Council to determine whether traditional R1 zoning would be appropriate or a Smart Code zoning designation would be appropriate. Obviously, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of the R1 going before you. I apologize if it seems like I'm out of breath at times, but just recovering from a little thing, so. Once again, here's the location of the 9.4 acres highlighted in blue. And the rationale, once again, was if this was, it would really have been awkward. You can see a lot of pockets within Post Falls that when these got left behind, it may be 20, 30, 40 more years before they become in. And we really need to look forward. Once it's in the city and you can get that right away, you can at least do some public improvements and get those pedestrian paths and the walkways connected. So that was the basis of that condition. For the engineering division, regarding transportation, the annexation proposed zoning of the property, it was compatible with the 2004 Transportation Master Plan. It was also consistent with, they're currently updating the new Transportation Master Plan. It was consistent with that as well. Also, Chase Road would be a minor collector, and Grange Avenue is going to be a local access roadway. In regards to the water reclamation, that they are available, these facilities adjacent to the site, sanitary sewer may be directed either to the existing 8-inch main on Grange Avenue or to the Guy Road lift station, and that the existing system has capacity to serve the project. In regards to domestic water, East Green Acres Irrigation District would handle facilitating the site. The police department has commented they have no issues with the proposed annexation, and same with Kootenai County Fire Department. So I'd stand for any questions you have for me at this point.
Can you flip back? I think it's 3 slides on the wastewater. There we go. So existing system capacity is not a guarantee of future service.
Yeah, it's pretty much true with all development that it's a clause that we put that it's not a guarantee. That,
But there's no concerns at this time, correct?
no, there's really no concerns. I
That's-
mean, we're expanding the facility now, and we have a wastewater master plan. We're building a treatment facility for that growth that's been identified. So the intent is to facilitate it, but just in case there's that clause.
Right. I just hadn't seen that before. I assume that's what it meant, but I wanted to clarify, so thank you.
Any questions, John? Thank you very much.
Right, thank you.
Phyllis, is there any testimony?
There was,
Please. Thank you very much. This is from Mr. William F. Guy. He is neutral, and he says, comments, ask questions. Did you wish to speak to ask questions? please come forward.
Well, I was wondering, have you looked into whether you can hook the sewer into Grange Avenue yet? Whether it's feasible or whether you're going to have to go across my property or? Oh,
The question was whether or not, we couldn't hear you up here, but Betty Ann couldn't. The question was whether or not staff has looked at whether or not they could hook into the existing system or wastewater system would have to go across Mr. Guy's property. Who would, you want to give an answer on that, Rob? Oh, yeah.
Robert Paulus, Assistant City Engineer. In regards to that question, the way the staff comments were laid out, there is capacity in a sewer line that's in the intersection of Chase and Grange Road to handle that subdivision from a gravity standpoint. There was a previous subdivision application that showed a sewer line going to the Guy Road lift station. It is an alternate lift state or an alternate location that's not really needed for this project. But if they were desirous to utilize that location, they could, so long as they were able to negotiate with the adjoining property owner, Mr. Guy.
Okay.
And they would have to secure easements in order to do that. But there's no requirement for them to do that, and they could proceed without those easements.
Okay. Thanks, Rob.
Okay, and then another thing, if you have to cross my property with your sewer line, I got 30 head of cattle in there. What are you going to do about my cattle while you're digging and tearing up things?
I think, I don't want to speak out of school, legitimate concern, but I think that's something that you can work with staff and the developer as we go forward. But from what Mr. Paulus just said, that with the development, the proposal that's before us right now, they've got the capacity without having to use yours property. So again, I think your questions are questions well asked, but I would ask that you work with staff on that to get those questions answered. Because again, as an alternative, that's not what they're relying on. So if you could do that, that would be beneficial.
Okay, because I don't know who done it, whether the city done it or the county done it, but you let Magnuson slide Fisher Avenue over so as he could keep it all on his own property, and when they put the water line in, they tore out my fence, and everybody refuses to put it back in, so that's going to cost me $4,000, and I don't want to get stuck with something else on this kind of a deal.
Don't blame you, and I would ask staff and developer to work with Mr. Guy to make sure those concerns are addressed up front so there are no surprises.
Yeah, and they destroyed 40 feet of my property back there because they never put any topsoil back on it. It's solid rock now.
Okay.
I can't plow it or anything, and I need some kind of protection that if they do go across my property, that they will put the topsoil back on.
Yep. We hear you loud and clear, and staff, again, we'll work with staff, and we'll make sure that those questions are addressed.
Okay, and another thing, do you intend to fence your property before you start digging to keep the cattle off of there, or you're going to do your?
We'll let him come up afterwards for the rebuttal. We'll ask him that question, so.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Yeah, that was the only one we had. Is that it? Mr. White, you want to rebut or at least address that question for us, please?
Sorry, Bill, I don't think I'm allowed to answer from the audience.
No.
Can you pull up, John, the staff report showing the layout? Or do you have an aerial?
We gotta fix something up here.
That one's fine, that has the arrow.
Okay.
I can't point on it, though.
No, you can use the mouse.
Yeah, there we go. So, the easements that bring the sewer to the north here are actually to serve what was this project, which was, I can't remember the developer's name, but either way, he lost it to the bank. So we purchased this from the bank originally, so we own this parcel also. So that'll adjoin with this 10 acres for the development project. So next time we're in front of you guys, it'll be for the preliminary plat subdivision. Our main connection point is right here, so we will be bringing sewer in from Chase Road right at this location. a pointer, and servicing this whole area. That original easement was because this area was cut off from reaching the sewer when this property wasn't included in it. And then, yes, we will be fencing along that northern boundary. In fact, the whole perimeter. We'll need to do Chase Road also. So we will be fencing it, and we won't be bringing sewer across your property.
Any other comments? Any other rebuttal while you're up?
Nothing to rebut.
Thank you. With that, I'll close the public meeting, public hearing. Counsel, how'd you like to act?
I would make a motion unless somebody else has a question. I would move to approve the Grange Avenue and Chase Road annexation file number A-15-04.
Second.
Motion seconds, further discussion. Phyllis, please take roll.
Malloy.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Hassan.
Aye.
Wilhelm.
Aye.
Thorson.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you very much. Again, I would ask staff, and I know you will, keep Mr. Guy in the loop on this, if you will. Next public hearing is Budget Amendment Number 1 for fiscal year 2016. I'd open the public hearing.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Back up a little further. Jason Faulkner, Finance Director. This is the first budget amendment for fiscal year 16. And in your council packet, I had some detail, and I had it broken down a little further, but I just wanted to give a recap on there's two funds that will be amending, and inside the general fund I'll give a little more breakdown of what departments will be affected and also what items are being requested for amending. Okay. The first one I had a summary of for legal services in the general fund, finance, public safety, community development, public works, parks and recreation, for a total inside the general fund of $298,651. There are the items that we have that went unfunded. Some items went unfunded in fiscal year 15, and then when we rolled over for the budget for this time, there was additional funds that we could fund those unfunded items. So 16, we brought that up. Our HR Director, Teresa Benner, had brought some positions before the council a few weeks ago to talk about potentially funding one position up and upgrading a couple other ones. So that's in this also. And in the special revenue fund for drug seizure money, that is just fund balance rebudgeted. So here's the summary for the two funds, and I'll go into detail on the next slides. Under the legal department, HR Director Benner had talked about reclassifying the deputy prosecutor position, and that would be an additional $5,901. Adding a line item for staff. Staff had, City of Post Falls has recently taken on a contract for the city of Rathdrum, and so that might require some additional overtime for clerical staff, and so we wanted to make sure we had that available in the budget. So that'd be $6,000. That's the original $5,000 request plus any taxes associated with the $5,000 not to exceed. In finance, we have a couple of utility bill contracts that we have exceeded in the years, but either we have not increased those line items through the budget process. So I wanted to make sure that I pointed those out for finance, that we are increasing for the utility billing lines. Public safety, Oasis receives some donations, and it's been standard practice from year to year. We carry those donated funds over so they can be appropriated and spent, because they went unspent last budget cycle. In community development, there was a request for a permit technician, which would be with salary and benefits, $66,034, and a reclassification of a planning specialist for $2,151. In public works, these items have the top three: the Sportsman's Park, ADA compliance. That was money that had went unspent in the prior fiscal year. The bucket truck retrofit, that was an unfunded item, along with the replacement of the plow blades. The last item I wanted to point out is a safety project that the city has that we didn't spend the remainder of the funds in fiscal year 15, so we need to reappropriate them in fiscal year 16, and that is a grant that the city received. So we have to budget for it before we can spend it. And then also in Parks and Recreation, the ticketing system that we had funded last year that we didn't spend, so we'll reappropriate that for 16. The roofing project at the treehouse, same situation. Equipment, the infield groomer, $16,500, and also tall tree equipment was a request in 15 that went unfunded for $2,000. And the items before are general fund, and then the last item on my slideshow is for the drug seizure, which is a separate fund, special revenue fund, and just rebudgeting fund balance in there. And then if there's any questions or comments.
Questions, Jason?
All right.
Good. Thank you very much.
All right.
Is there any testimony?
None.
We're not going to let them rebut, are we?
I wouldn't think so.
No.
Close the public hearing. Counsel, how would you like to act?
Move to accept the budget amendment number 1 for fiscal year 2016 as presented.
Second.
Motion second. Further discussion? Those please take the roll.
Hassan,
Aye.
Wilhelm,
Aye.
Thorson,
Aye.
Malloy,
Aye.
Henderson,
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you very much. Unfinished business, we have none. Citizens' issues. This is a section of the agenda is reserved for citizens wishing to address the council regarding a city-related issue that is not on the agenda. Anybody wishing to speak, come forward and give your name for the record, please. Chief.
Mayor and Council, Warren Merritt, KCFR. I just wanted to bring some good news forward to the council tonight. Last night at our Board of Commissioners meeting, they are ready to move forward with the substation at Station 2. So we hope to have that on board no later than the first of the year. We think it's a great partnership. We think it's going to be good for the community. And they've also waived the fees for the first year. We're going to be monitoring that as we move through the year. But pleased to announce that, and I've contacted Chief Hogue. We got just a few details to iron out.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. Sure.
Great.
Anyone else? Next item up is a new business, and we have none. Ordinances and resolutions, we have two. The first ordinance is Miller Development or Annexation.
Move to place the ordinance Miller Development Annexation on its first and only reading by title only while under suspension of the rules.
Second.
Motion second. Further discussion? Phyllis, please take the roll.
Malloy,
Aye.
Henderson,
Aye.
Hassan,
Aye.
Wilhelm,
Aye.
Thorson.
Aye.
Motion passes. Mr. Wilson.
An ordinance of the City of Post Falls, a municipal corporation of the state of Idaho, providing for annexation of property consisting of approximately 7 acres located at the east side of Idaho Street, south of Quail Run First Edition, Section 35, Township 51 North, Range 5 West, Boise Meridian, Kootenai County, Idaho, and zoning said annexed property as single-family residential R1, providing for the amendment to the official zoning map and providing for an effective date hereof.
Move to approve the ordinance Miller Development Annexation and to direct the clerk to assign the appropriate number and that it be published by summary only.
Second.
Motion second. Further discussion? Phyllis, please take the roll.
Hassan,
Aye.
Henderson,
Oh, aye. Excuse me.
Malloy,
Aye.
Thorson,
Aye.
Wilhelm,
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you very much. Next up is the Rieben Annexation Ordinance.
Move to place the ordinance Rieben Annexation on its first and only reading by title only while under suspension of the rules.
Second.
Motion second. Further discussion? Seeing none, please take the roll.
Henderson,
Aye.
Malloy,
Aye.
Thorson,
Aye.
Wilhelm,
Aye.
Hassan,
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
An ordinance of the City of Post Falls, a municipal corporation of the state of Idaho, providing for annexation of property consisting of approximately 1/4 acres located at the northeast quarter of the southwest quarter of Section 28, Township 51 North, Range 5 West, Boise Meridian, Kootenai County, Idaho, and zoning said annexed property as single-family suburban R1S, providing for the amendment to the official zoning map, providing for an effective date hereof.
Move to approve the ordinance Rieben Annexation and to direct the clerk to assign the appropriate number and that it be published by summary only.
Second.
Motion second. Further discussion? Seeing none, Phyllis, please take the roll.
Wilhelm.
Aye.
Hassan.
Aye.
Henderson.
Aye.
Malloy.
Aye.
Thorson.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Administrative staff reports.
We have none tonight, sir.
Next up is mayor comments. First of all, let's just talk about Skip.
Well, let's not.
No, let's not.
I just noticed that tonight is Councilor Hissong's last official Post Falls City Council meeting because he's not coming back.
You have to have a smile when you say that.
I'm just curious if there was any relation to the fact that this is your last meeting. I see lots of badges out in the audience, so I don't know if they expected your followers to be here or not. But Skip, we can't thank you enough for all you do. Everywhere we turn, we see your handprint and your involvement in things. So thanks for all you've done for Post Falls. Look forward to continuing to visit with you. And I'm sure Mr. Borders will do a fine job. But there's not too many people that can replace Skip. So Lynn, I know you're going to do great, but Skip, we're going to miss you. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ron. Appreciate it. I'm not saying anything else if that's what you want.
Thank goodness. No, I'm just kidding.
That's what we were hoping.
I want to thank the First Christian Church of Coeur d'Alene for their generous donation to the Post Falls Police Department. The PD received a $50,000 donation for the Canine program in the Park and Recreation Department in Post Falls, received a $10,000 donation to the Youth Scholarship Program. Their generous gifts to so many worthwhile programs in the area truly show the Christmas spirit. Our good article in today's Coeur d'Alene Press and the list of organizations that receive funding from the First Christian Church who sold our facility was tremendous. So again, we can't thank them enough. The Holidays and Heroes was a huge success. We read it on the Facebook, city's Facebook, the police department's Facebook, pictures in the paper. Again, we can't thank you folks for what you and your staff and all the volunteers do year in and year out for those that are less fortunate. So again, thank you very much. Saturday was the Mayor's Day at the Kettle, and for some reason, the Washington Spokane mayors did not participate, but we were able to raise, at Fred Meyer in Coeur d'Alene, we were able to raise $9,112 ringing the bell that day, and Fred Meyer donated another $5,000. So the take from the ringing just at Fred Meyer that day was $14,112. And you know, we ring the bell every year, my son and I, for a Rotary Club out at Cabela's. And something that amazes me year in and year out are the people who give. You see folks walking by and you say, those people are going to donate, and they don't. Some do, but what is truly amazing is the number of families who walk by that you probably anticipate can't afford it, that are digging in their pockets to donate. And it was the same at Fred Meyer Saturday. We were ringing, and this father comes up with these two little girls, 5 years old maybe, 4 and 5. And the one little girl's got a little sandwich bag, and it's got a $1 bill and some change in it. And she's going in Christmas shopping, and she stops at the kettle, and she opened it up and took her $1 bill out and put it in the kettle. So she took the money, the coins inside with her, but she wanted to donate. So again, it's just so rewarding to see how people step up in, especially at the holiday season, Christmas season, help take care of those who are less fortunate. So again, can't thank you all enough for everything everybody has done. Just a quick update on the Veterans Home. There are meetings and discussions ongoing to continue that process. We're talking about the property that the Jacklins have donated. Architects would like some more, a couple more lots, so that's all being worked on. Len Crosby, Bob Nonini, the Jacklins are doing a tremendous amount of work on this to try to make this become a reality. And we're still probably 2.5 years out, but the efforts are continuing. So we will keep you posted and hope to have some good news on that. And finally, from my perspective, I would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Staff, from myself and the council, thank you for all you do. Council, thank you for all you do, because you really make sitting in this chair an easier job than it could be. So again, thank you very much and Merry Christmas. And with that, staff or council comments. Okay.
Because the mayor was ringing the bell on Saturday, he could not be two places at once, so I got to be in one of his places. And that was for the dedication of the 39th Habitat for Humanity home in North Idaho. And about a third of those homes have been built through the last less than a decade in Post Falls. And there will be 2 more homes completed in 2016. But what is really wonderful, besides providing a home for 4 people, is these are infill projects. These are wonderful, it's a win-win for the family, and I love seeing in some of our neighborhoods, and the 2 in 2016 will be in that similar neighborhood up there. But it's a wonderful program, and like I say, it's just a win-win. So they got to come home for Christmas, the Williamson family, nice young family, little girl about 2 years old, and it was a pleasure to see them handed the keys after all of that work. But so Merry Christmas.
Gary, thanks for attending that dedication, and I also want to thank Councilman Wolf, even though he's not here, for covering for me to read the night before Christmas out in actually probably right here to the little kids for the city's Christmas ceremony. So appreciate everybody stepping up. We do need an executive session. I'm sorry, Skip.
I'd just like to say a few words.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sorry. No, you didn't have your hand up, so.
I first off would like to thank the people on the other end of this and the cameras out there that voted a few times to allow me to serve for the last 8 years. It's been an absolute pleasure, as it was in the early 90s. I had the pleasure of serving. I want to thank especially the staff that's here and the staffs that have gone before you guys. You make us look good. It's a pleasure to get up every day, pick up the paper, and we are not splashed across the front page with some outrageous happening on behalf of the city. You guys all do wonderful jobs. I appreciate it. It's been great being your friends as well as your co-worker, as it were, and I thank you for that. And for everybody up here, thanks for your many, many years of friendship and our ability to work together without taking each other apart, privately or publicly, as happens elsewhere in our neighborhoods. So with that, I bid you all adieu and wish Lynn very best. Thank you for stepping up to the plate to take this position over. I'm sure you'll do us a very credible job. With that, thank you.
Congratulations, Skip.
Thanks, baby.
Skip, I want to follow up real quick. You're talking about taking people apart. Did you happen to see the article today about the mayor and councilman in Alabama?
I did not.
Yeah, it was quite a Donnybrook, and they ended up, was it either in jail or in the hospital or something? They didn't see eye to eye, so they went outside.
Is that why we have so many cops
I think
tonight,
so.
just in case?
So Skip, thank you very much for all you've done.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, sit down.
And I'm not going to hug you. Yes, I am.
Oh, I think we're going to
Here
executive
comes
session.
somebody.
Oh, Josh is going to hug him now.
Oh,
That's my son, by the way.
that's awesome, Josh.
And my other son's in the back.
Oh, that's your other son?
How does Huggy?
It was just like a random guy in the audience.
How long do we need, sir?
20 minutes.
Okay.
That's
Are you
way
ready,
too
Mayor?
It's all yours. We do need an executive session. Have at it.
I thought you said that before, so I was just trying to keep
I was going
on.
to, but I was going to hug Skip and he didn't come down. So.
Oh, go ahead and hug him.
Oh, go ahead.
Move to enter into executive session pursuant to Idaho Code 74-2061F to communicate with legal counsel for the public agency to discuss the legal ramifications of and legal options for pending litigation or controversies not yet being litigated, but imminently likely to be litigated, that no further action will be taken during this session, and that it will last about 20 minutes.
No longer.
Second.
Motion second. Further discussion. Let's please take the roll.
Malloy.
Aye.
Henderson.
Aye.
Hassan.
Aye.
Wilhelm.
Aye.
Thorson.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you very much. We'll now enter executive session. Call the meeting back to order. Are there any motions to come forward?
I would like to make a motion.
Please.
I would move to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you very much.
Hey, what's this picture?